Hello and welcome to Focus on Framingham, show number 11th. I'm recording this on St. Patrick's Day, which is March 17th, 2019. I'm your host, Mike Cunningham. And before we get started here, just want to point out that you can find us online at focusonframingham.tv. Also, you can reach me at mike@focusonframingham.tv. So let's get started here. So I haven't done a show in a couple of months, and so I'm a little bit behind here. So what I want to do is we'll kind of recap the last few months here in Framingham. The mayors gave a state of the city back in January, and I'm going to just read here from the Metro West Daily News, had 5 takeaways. Let's see if we can kind of summarize here. So let's see. So the 5 takeaways, according to this article on the Metro West Daily News, is the commitment to collaboration. In remarks that lasted about 30 minutes, Spicer emphasized the importance of building relationships, particularly with the City Council and School Committee. Spicer says that she recently attended a statewide conference for mayors organized by the Massachusetts Municipal Association, as well as the 86th Winter Meeting of the United States Conference of Mayors, held at the end of January in Washington, D.C. The second takeaway, neighborhood associations. Touching on her efforts to increase citizen participation, Spicer says that she plans on to create neighborhood associations which will meet regularly to discuss problems in each part of the city. Under the new city charter, Spicer is also required to hire a citizen participation officer who is charged with working with city employees, boards, and committees to enhance public engagement, answer questions, field complaints, and ensure the city meets all public notice requirements. So let's see. Third item. Public health. The mayor outlined new initiatives launched by the health department, including a partnership with the Framingham Public Schools to address the recent rise in stress among students. The initiative will include programs to strengthen social and emotional health and coping skills for adolescents. Data has shown that stress remains a major concern that affects more of our adolescents than any other mental health issue, Spicer said. Fourth, economic development. Revitalizing downtown remains a major focus, the mayor said, calling it a critical component of the city's future economic growth. In one sign of progress, Spicer says a luxury apartment project that promises to transform the Concord Street corridor will break ground in the spring. Other areas of focus include the Golden Triangle, the commercial area that straddles the Natick border, that's over kind of like by the Natick Mall, I believe, where a comprehensive study is underway to suggest future improvements. After adopting the Complete Streets program, a state initiative that encourages communities to incorporate pedestrian and bicycle facilities in their transportation plans, Framingham landed a $400,000 state grant, allowing it to finish the first phase of a multi-use path along Dudley Road beside Farm Pond. And finally, city transition. Framingham's transition from town to city is off to a smooth start, Spicer says, describing her progress on her first duties in office, seating the new board of license commissioners. The city received 17 applications for 5 seats on the licensing board, Spicer said, describing the array of candidates, 6 women and 11 men, including 4 Spanish-speaking and 1 versed in Portuguese, as an example of the more widespread participation under Framingham's new form of government. So let's see. Moving on, we have Nobscot Drama, and I'll put up a graphic for that here. So, I'm going to start this part with a piece of video from the Framingham government channel, which should kind of give you a background in what is going on here, because it's a little contentious and there's a little bit of drama. So let's just take a look at that real quick here.
I would request that members of the City Council work with me as the mayor to establish an awesome village center that members of the community can support and be supported together. We can achieve more if we put our energies towards making Nobscot a thriving village. Let me focus on the future and move us very forward. I appreciate the invitation to respond to your questions tonight. In the spirit of transparency, I will post the questions and the answers and the links on our website, so for anyone in the community to have access to that. And thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Any comments or clarifying comments or questions? Mayor?
I'm not taking questions. And we'll move forward here. I'm not going to take questions right now. Thank you.
No follow-ups?
No follow-up questions?
You gave me the question.
I'm going to take a 5-minute recess if I could. Is there a motion to that?
So moved.
All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. 10-0.
So, as you can see, the mayor was kind of in a mood regarding this. And let's see, I'm going to look at an article now here from the Metro West Daily News about the Nobscot Chapel at Water Street, which has been kind of a big topic around here in the last few months in Framingham. So this is from the Metro West Daily News. In a move aimed at stopping the sale of the Nobscot Chapel, city councilors will ask an independent government watchdog agency to determine whether Mayor Yvonne Spicer has the authority to decide what happens to the building. Councilors voted Tuesday to request an advisory opinion from the State Inspector General about whether jurisdiction over the sale of the chapel rests with the legislative or executive branch under Framingham's new form of government. The question arose as councilors grappled with the pending sale of the building to Nobscot Plaza owner Andy Rose. Holding up any improvements in the Nobscot area in order to leverage movement of the Nobscot Plaza has resulted in no progress in the last 20 years, said Spicer, referring from a prepared statement. Continuing to own this chapel and the land underneath it does not serve the city or the ultimate path for the redevelopment of the Nobscot Plaza. Rose, who controls the largely vacant strip mall in the center of the village, offered the city $50,000 to buy the 19th century chapel and move it south on Edgell Road. He proposes to transform it into a new food service establishment. I don't know how you're going to do that, but in place, Rose hopes to construct a new CVS, which will be part of a larger redevelopment of the block. Now, I'm going to interject here that in the time that I've lived here in Framingham, I have seen nothing happen in that, and I've been here for 14 years, and that place just keeps getting more desolate and deserted. And to hear that there's all these grand plans, it's just kind of like, at this point, I don't know what to really believe. So the pending deal sparked unease among many councilors who questions the mayor's decision to relinquish control of the property. Several said that they fear the chapel is the city's only bargaining chip in its negotiations with Rose over the future of the plaza. And I think that's where all of the controversy stems from. So the councilors summoned the mayor to their meeting Tuesday, sending her a list of questions about the evolution of the real estate deal and her long-term strategy for Nobscot. After listening to the mayor's prepared remarks, members voted to seek guidance from the Inspector General about whether Spicer had the lawful authority to sell the building. So this kind of centers around the question in a 2013 town meeting vote that authorized the former Board of Selectmen to dispose of the property. The city's lawyer, who serves at the pleasure of the mayor, found that under the new city charter, decision-making authority over the chapel transferred from the selectmen to the city's new executive, the mayor. So that's what's going on with that. So let's move on here, and we'll probably be hearing more about that in the future. Let's see. Our next story is about the youth council that was recently formed, which is kind of exciting here. And here's a story from the Framingham source. A Framingham High School senior reached and authorized an ordinance requesting the Framingham City Council create a youth advisory council for the city of Framingham. Isabella Petroni, 17, possibly related to Susan, submitted the ordinance to the 11th member City Council on Tuesday night, January 8th meeting as part of a public participation. I have come here as a citizen and a representative of the youth of this community, said Petroni. Local governments is imperative to the functioning of everyday life, yet we forget to teach the next generation about how to prepare for that. If they take a government class, they will focus mostly on the federal government and sometimes our state government. Town and city governments are rarely touched upon, but when they are, the minimum basics are discussed. Most of the information given is broad generalizations when each community is unique in its inner workings, said the high school senior taking an AP government class this year. So I think this is a great idea because I can tell you growing up, I didn't grow up in Framingham, but I grew up in another city and I knew nothing about the way the government worked. I didn't know what the difference really was between a town and a city and Board of Selectmen versus city councilors. I didn't really actually learn most of that until I moved to Massachusetts and then to Framingham. So I think this is a great idea. And honestly, I mean, the kids are going to be the ones invested in it the longest. So we want to kind of keep them here in Massachusetts and make them feel, part of the inner workings of the city. And I think this is a great idea. So let's move on here to our next story. The Loring Arena has a new program for adaptive skating, and I'll read to you here, and I actually have a graphic for it as well. It's called the Adaptive Skating Program, and it might be a little hard to read at home because of the way analog television works. But basically, it's who children with, I'll start here. We are sharing this information on behalf of our friends at Framingham Parks and Recreation. This is a new and exciting program for our community, and it's being offered with collaboration between the Framingham Parks and Rec and Franciscan Children's. There are still some openings. Feel free to call, register, or learn more today. So this is for children with special needs ages 5 to 22. Thursday, Thursday, March 14th through April 4th, so it's still going on, 4:40 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Loring Arena, 165 Fountain Street. It's $40 per child or $50 per child for a non-resident. And it's an adaptive skating program that provides children with special needs the opportunity to participate in sports and active recreation in a fun and safe environment. The program promotes the learning of a new skill, social opportunities, and moderate to vigorous physical activity to maintain and improve health and fitness. So if you are interested in that, you can probably find it on the Parks and Rec website, or just you can Google it. So we'll move on to our next story here. And you'll have to apologize because I'm a little rusty on operating the switcher, having not done it in a few weeks. Our next story is about the Framingham Flyers Super 8 run comes to an end for the Framingham boys hockey. There's an article in the Metro West Daily News. Officially, the Flyers season ended with a 3-0 loss to Hingham on Saturday night at the Chelmsford Forum in an elimination game. In Billerica, the Framingham boys hockey team was going to go down in the history books as one of the best in program history. No matter how it's run in the Super 8 wrapped up. Officially, the Flyers season ended with a 3-0 loss to the Hingham on Saturday night. But years from now, most sports supporters, fans, and players and coaches will remember the fact that the 2019 Flyers brought a community together and did something that hadn't been accomplished in 25 years. We really couldn't have accomplished much more than we did this season. Aside from winning the whole thing, junior goaltender Jake Handy, 30 saves, said the following: the loss of the third-seeded Harbormen. You really can't say that you can do much better than the Super 8. To be in the elite group of teams, to get to play in this tournament is an unbelievable accomplishment. It's a great feeling to know that you're considered to be that caliber of a team, and the fact that the program hasn't been here for as long as it was just shows how hard it is to get here. So the Flyers, the season, 17 wins, 5 losses, and 2 ties, I guess, fell in an early 1-0 hole just a minute and 28 into the game. So the article kind of goes on with kind of an analysis of that last game, but the story was really more about the fact that they hadn't been there, I guess, in 25 years. So that's a quarter of a century. So that's impressive. So congratulations to the Framingham Flyers hockey team. And moving on to another team, the Framingham dance team. Also, they placed 3rd place in all of New England. So this is an article in Framingham Source. The Framingham High dance team finished in 3rd place in the New England regional competition at Braintree High on Saturday, March 9th. Earlier this month, the Flyers won the state title in the hip-hop division. Let's see. Let's actually follow that. So we go to the Flyers dance team captures the winter state title. So this is in Weymouth. The Framingham High dance team won its first winter state title on Tuesday night. This is the 4th state dance title in the last 3 years. The dance team has won 3 consecutive fall state titles. We're beyond excited to have reached this milestone, said head coach Angela Rodriguez. It means a lot to us, and we have a tremendous respect for the other teams in both our division and in the All Styles division. The Flyers won the state title in the hip-hop category. The team is led by junior tri-captains Ivy Jolie Camacho, Jonalis Pina, and Alex Chan. Other members of the squad are listed here in the article. Framingham will compete in the New England Champion, which I just reported on a second ago. So congratulations to the Framingham Flyers dance team. Let's see. Our next story is about the Saxonville restaurant, Pizzeria Nikos. If you notice as you drive by, they've got brown paper taped up in the windows. And there's a story behind it. According to Framingham Source, a pizzeria in Saxonville has closed. Nikos Family Pizzeria at 1645 Concord Street closed on March 3rd. And the statement from them are, I would, with much sadness, announce that Nikos, with the Frontel family, has come to an end. Our doors have closed today, Sunday. Reason being that the landlord wants the building because he will resell, wrote the pizzeria on social media. We are very upset because it has been many months of hard work and we've been building up so much, not to mention how close we got to some of the families that went there. We're simply a loss for words. We are looking for a new location. We'll keep you posted with a new name and address, wrote Peter E. Melanie on the pizzeria's social media page. So I guess they're going to reopen at some point somewhere else. We'll just have to wait and see. And a good question as to what's going to happen to the to that building, that location there, right at the end of Concord. So we'll have to stay tuned. So the next story is about the Danforth Art Museum. And it has a grand opening, a reopening, at the Framingham State University with a reception on April 13th, 2019. Then the museum will be open to visitors on Sunday, April 14th, 2019. There'll be more information to follow. The spring session for the Danforth Art School will begin on April 22nd, 2019. We anticipate registration will be open on March 16th. We appreciate your patience as we launch a brand new website. So that's kind of exciting. And you can go to danforthart.org for more information. Our next story is about Framingham Earth Day. And I'm going to just read a little bit here about that. So the Framingham Earth Day Festival will be on April 27th, 2019. And you can go to FraminghamEarthDay.org for more information. They say, join us on Framingham Center's Common on Saturday, April 27th, 2019 for music, food, education, green resources, and community connections. They have parking at kind of all the regular places. There's also an electronics and bike recycling behind Plymouth Church at 87 Elgin Road. Parking from 1 to 3 only at the Northeast Community Bank. And then they list a bunch of places where you can't park. Recycling, just lots of items you can bring to the Common to recycle on Festival Day. There's a page that I'll click on in a second here for that details. There's kids' activities. There's a kids' corner. Children can enjoy nature-based games and art projects, including endangered species, walk, and an art activity book. There's a bike, fitting free bike helmets from Brickstone, White, and Gluck's Project Kids Safe campaign. That's always fun. I think that the police will help out with that. Free on-site hula hoop lessons, soccer activity for all ages, a harmonograph drawing with a harmonographica. What is that? Henna with Henna by Julia, and hands-on climate change experiments with SET School. There'll be food, Mexican dishes. There'll be global cuisine from Nzuko, popcorn from Velma's Kettle Corn, and a bunch of sweet treats from Dulce de Leche and Joni's Cannolis, Julie Z's Breads. There'll be lemonade and coffee as well. And there'll be music as well. And there'll be a Natick drum circle in the afternoon. There'll be some speakers as well. And for the recycling, I can tell you a little bit about that. Recycling light bulbs, batteries, printer cartridges, CD, DVDs, Brita filters, and wine corks at the Framingham Earth Day Festival sponsored recycling station. Drop off any of the following items: batteries, all types, light bulbs, all types, K-cups, printer cartridges, cell phones, CD, DVDs, discs, and ooh, I got a lot of those. Brita filters, wine corks, baby food pouches, candy and snack wrappers. You can also donate glasses, hearing aids, coats, and pennies. Pennies, that's interesting. I guess people have Pennies for Sight program that supports people with eye diseases. Okay. Packing peanuts and packing materials. That's a good one because that stuff really piles up. Old toothbrushes, toothpaste tubes, caps and boxes, and electronics. The electronics isn't free. This will be, I believe, behind Plymouth Church. They'll take TVs and computer monitors, mixed electronics, household appliances, white goods, any metal, bare metal, or metal items like desks, poles, pots, barbecue grills, bikes and bike parts, tools, accessories, and clothing. So they'll take everything except a really, really rusty bike or something motorized. And there'll also be a National Drug Take-Back Day. If you have any expired medications, don't flush them down the toilet, throw them in the trash, but instead you can bring them from 10 a.m. The police department on April 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I think that is not that same day. That would be Sunday. So just make a note of that. So that's actually the separate day at the police station, I believe. And finally, on that same day, not to forget here, Science on State Street will be back on the same day from 11 to 3. Challenge your perceptions, explore the world around you, and discover something amazing. This year's festival will feature more science-based, curiosity-fueled fun than ever before, including more than 50 interactive exhibits and lots of free shows in the FSU Planetarium. Be sure to join us for a keynote presentation and fascinating topic just in time for the upcoming 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing, moon race. So they're going to give a talk on that. So keep them in mind, and then note on the website. The Framingham Earth Day Festival will be going on at the Framingham Center Common, just steps away. Park at either the festival and follow the signs to cross the Route 9 footbridge for a full day of fun. So you can kind of go up towards Vernon Street and take that footbridge that goes over Route 9, and that will take you right to the FSU campus where the Science on State Street will be happening. And finally, Framingham Library is going to debut their new Bookmobile. It's currently, so they write on their page, help us get the Bookmobile on the road. Our fully accessible Bookmobile is currently being readied and will hit the road this spring. This will be a true library on wheels with technology, programming, research help, and course books, movies, and music. We are so excited to bring the library to schools, senior centers, daycare centers, homebound patrons, neighborhoods, and special events all over the city. So celebrate the unveiling of the Bookmobile on Tuesday, April 9th at 8:30 a.m. at the Memorial Building Plaza. They have a little poster here. There's a snow date of April 16th. Boy, I hope it doesn't snow on April 9th, because I'm getting kind of sick of the snow here. So I'm not too concerned about that. I think that we'll be okay with the snow. So check that out. There'll be feature stops on April 9th. The Woodrow Wilson Elementary School, Brookdale Cushing Park, Camel Terrace Assisted Living, and the Framingham YMCA. Go to framinghamlibrary.org for more information. So that kind of wraps up our show for today. I have about a minute left here. So if you have any questions about any of the items I talked about today, you can either reach out to me at our email address, and I'd be more than happy to answer. We also have a YouTube channel, which you can reach by going to focusonframingham.tv. This is my email address, and here is our website, which will take us to a YouTube channel. You can also watch us on Access Framingham, Channel 3 RCN, Channel 9 Comcast, and Channel 43 Verizon. And also check out, there's a lot of other great programming on Access Framingham, so check that out. You can check out their website at accessfram.tv. They have on-demand video and the program schedule there as well. So that wraps up Focus on Framingham for this week. I hope to be back in a week or two with more regular shows. And thanks for watching.